20 minutes on the I don't even know what it's called, little belly machine that tracks his heart rate, and that I had to be strapped in after, and he had to have a solid rhythm for 20 minutes. I was like, okay, that's no big deal. Well, it ended up being a big deal. And I had to, they were trying to get me comfortable on the bed, which I wasn't comfortable on the bed because I wasn't comfortable sitting and I wasn't really comfortable laying down. And at that point I started to get really nauseous again. And at some point early in the morning, while I was laboring at home, my husband had cut up a pineapple for me to eat, which we had jokingly bought a day or so earlier, as they say pineapple will start labor, and I was ready to try anything to get him out. So I was laying on the bed and I had just had a really bad contraction, ended up throwing up, and his heart rate starts to dip, and I was like, didn't want any interventions. I really didn't want an IV. I really didn't want, I didn't want anything. I really wanted to do was go as natural as possible. We studied and read and did classes, and so the nurse that was there told me right away, as soon as his heart rate dipped even that little bit, that, oh, well, we should put an IV in you and to make sure it's safe for him. Which kind of irked me a little bit because I was like, well, I just threw up and I just had a contraction, so can we give it a minute? And she was like, okay, but if it keeps dipping, we may want to think about an IV. And she's like, okay, well, can we give him 5 minutes? And so we gave him 5 minutes. His heart rate came back up and he was just fine. But I felt in that moment that all of the classes that I had done had paid off because I had known enough to stand up for myself and at least not necessarily to fight with the nurses, but to be able to give them the option, to let me have the option to wait a little bit, to have a little bit of time. So we finally figured it out, and it was kind of just a lack of communication on whether it's her part or my part, but that I could sit on the birthing ball and still be strapped up to the monitor. And so that kind of, once I got off the bed and on the birth ball, it ended up helping a lot. I still was on the monitors for probably close to an hour though, if not a little bit longer. Time started to get a little blurry there for me. So we got on the birth ball, and his rhythm finally evened out enough that they told me I could get in the tub. And so getting in the tub was just glorious. And I got in the tub and I labored, and my husband helped me, and he rubbed my back and he fed me ice chips, and I labored and it got hard. And the whole time he was just telling me that I could do it, and I was doing it, and which was great because there was definitely moments where I didn't think I was going to be able to go med-free, and I was like ready to tell him, okay, give me the drugs. But I knew in my heart of hearts I didn't want the drugs, and I knew that part of what helped me is I knew that having to have any drugs meant that I had to get back in the stinking bed, and I didn't want to get back on the bed. So I labored for a long time in the tub, and they were able at that point to check remotely, so they would listen to him from time to time while I was having a contraction, just to make sure he was doing okay. Everything was fine, and then there got to a point that I was like, they asked me, I guess, if I wanted to check, and I was like, no, I really don't want to check. So they're just like, okay, well, when you feel the urge to push, just let us know. You just can't push in the tub. And I was like, okay. And so during one contraction, I was like, and I feel like I'm pushing, even though I wasn't doing anything else. So it was just on my body. And so my husband got up and popped his head out the door and let the midwives know. And at this point, about probably 20 minutes or so before this, they had like a shift change. So I got a different midwife and a different nurse, and I think both were a much better fit for us, and so I was thankful for that. And so we went out and got the midwives, and so the nurse came in and helped him, between her and my husband, got me out of the tub, and got me onto the bed, and my natural instinct was to kneel and hang over the bed, and that seemed the only way that was even remotely comfortable for me. So we pushed like that, and the contractions came, and I pushed, and it was the worst and the best feeling in the whole world. And everything you hear about the ring of fire is completely true, and it hurt like all heck. And it was one of those, I don't even know how to explain, but it was such a good feeling to push, and then such a discouragement when it stopped, because I could feel him going forward and then coming back, and then going forward and then coming back. And so they're like, you're doing it. And after a while, the midwives had asked, well, do you want to try changing positions? And I was like, no. They ended up moving me just a little bit farther on the bed, which helped a little bit. They had to convince me about that. They're like, if he comes out right now, he's going to fall on the floor. And I was like, okay, I'll move. And so I moved up the bed a little higher, so there was a little more bed underneath me. And we pushed, and I pushed, and a little after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, he was born. And it was just like, I was told he was crowning, but it still felt like he was coming all the way back up every time, even though in hindsight I know he wasn't. But yeah, he came out, and it was one big push at the end, and all of him came out, and they flipped me over and put him on my chest, and it was just like this. Everything was totally worth it, and I was so thankful that I was able to do it med-free, because I was so like this like euphoria that they talk about, that it was just like there's not a better moment in the whole world. And to have him be so alert and so awake and watching me and looking at me, and for me to be so able to interact and connect with him so soon after he was born was just the best gift. And all I can say is that I'm very glad that I stayed turned around, because when I finally turned around and put me on my chest, there was about 6 people behind me in the room that I didn't know were standing there. And I don't know if it would have gone so fast had he, or had I known that they were all there, because in my world it was just my husband and the nurse helping me push. But I would do it again in a heartbeat. We're hopefully planning on having another one, and hopefully are going to be able to do it at home this time, and we just feel confident that we've gone through one birth and can do it again. And I just feel like with the right support system, you can do it. Postpartum, I can say my placenta took a while to deliver. It wasn't super long, but it wasn't crazy fast either. And so we just kind of hung out while we waited on that. And then breastfeeding was really tough for us. We had a really hard time getting him to latch. It hurt. He didn't want to latch. We ended up using a nipple shield, which got him to latch, which was great. And then I really pushed to have the lactation consultant come in and talk to us, which was great. All the nurses at Mercy have some lactation training, which was great. They were able to help, but the next day we got the actual lactation consultant in, and she was able to help us some. And then we ended up staying an extra night in the hospital because of the breastfeeding issues. They talked us into it. The nurses were like, so he was born on a Thursday, and we were ready to go on Friday, and they're like, we really think you should stay one more night just because he's still having kind of a hard time breastfeeding, and since it's going into Saturday, that way you'll have somebody there. We'll be here to help. So it really helped because we had another lactation consultant appointment on. So we saw her Friday and Saturday. Went home, still not better, so Tuesday we got in with one of the lactation consultants at Arizona Breastfeeding Center, and found out he was tongue-tied, so we got that fixed, and once we got that fixed, we've been really great after. I guess directly postpartum, we had about 2 hours before we had anybody come in, and I was happy that everyone could be there with us, because then we just kind of had a stream of visitors for the next few hours after that. But had I done it over, I probably would have told everyone to wait and come the next day, just so we could have more time together. But at the same time, I'm glad we got to share with everybody, so it's kind of a double-edged sword on that one. The first week or so was hard, and it still felt difficult. I did tear a little bit. I had a first degree tear, so they did numb me up to put some stitches in. So getting around was not the most fun afterwards, but I definitely would prefer a small tear than to a giant scar across my tummy. So that's weird. I was grateful for that, but yeah, otherwise I didn't have any complications or anything along those lines, which was really great. I don't even know how to explain what contractions feel like. They were all like the same, and they were all different, so it was just such a weird feeling that I had never experienced anything like it. And like I said, I was still kind of in denial that I was in labor until we went and got checked, and they're like, oh yeah, it's there. So I think with contractions you'll kind of know and just trust your body. So that's my story.